Always
Hey,
great to have my next guest on the show. It's the Mountain, Jared Vanderaa, who will be back in action on February the 10th at Fierce FC 30 when he faces Kent Mafileo for the heavyweight title. Jared, how are you?
I am tired and I'm about to throw my kids away.
Well, speaking of kids, how was Christmas? How's the family doing?
Christmas was Christmas. Go and see family. The kids, they're being I have a toddler, so that's always fun. But I mean, it's Christmas, and yeah, it's just another day. I'm over it.
Well, I'm sure it's a lot to juggle with everything you have going on, your family life, the kids, running a gym and still getting your fight career underway. How's that balance though? Is there enough hours in the day for you?
No, uh, I don't know if you could tell, but my location's slightly different.
Mhm.
Because I earlier this month I went from my old gym location. We moved into this one. So I took about 2 to almost 3 weeks off of training completely just to move locations. So right now that's where I'm at my new location right now, where it's going great, but between running a business, the holidays and stuff, it's been a struggle. But luckily, a lot of not, only one of my fighters has a fight in the near future. He fights the 23rd of February. So we haven't had to be on the go and
Mhm.
going hard, and luckily he's been able to cross train at other gyms. So we're doing okay. And now that we've reopened and reestablished things, we're kind of just getting back on the ball. But between this parenting, and the training in the mornings, it is exhausting. And now that I've switched up my schedules even more to get more training in, it's it's hopefully going to be better. I think one of the biggest things that I failed to do in my UFC career was I was busy running a business. Like, people don't understand that I'm not just a coach; I'm a business owner. During the beginning of my UFC career, I had two businesses. Now I'm down to one, and it's exhausting. Like, people think it's easy. Everyone thinks running a business, money just comes to you, and it's all fine and dandy. But no, it's a struggle. A lot of my UFC money went into the business because I was still establishing my name out here. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And I do think that played a detriment into my fight career in the UFC. I wasn't able to balance the smaller things like I am now. Like for example, my weight is a great example. I couldn't I had to cut to heavyweight. Right now, I'm walking around 240.
Right. But I wanted to ask too, because you even made light heavyweight your last fight. I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
I didn't make it. I missed weight.
Oh, you did.
Uh, yeah, I missed weight by 4 pounds, and that
But
wasn't intentional. That
but that's
wasn't
close,
intentional.
man. For you to even make 209, that's incredible.
Yeah, my scale was off at home. My scale at home said I was 207, so I was gonna be like, I got that pound allowance. I'm still sweaty. I'm like, I got a whole hour, and maybe I'll get more time to drop it. And sure enough, nope, nothing.
Do, do you feel that was just too much to change to be competitive at 205? Are you going to go back to heavyweight here for the future, or are you going to make that run to 205 again?
Okay, so that was a weird one because so I was told about 2 weeks before that fight happened that was scrapped. It was not happening. So I was in my cut. I was like 226, 220 ish. Like, I was floating around those that weight. So I'm like, I got 15 pounds of cut. I'm golden. But then my manager's like, yo, fights off. So I go a week or so. I slow down my weight cut because I had a grappling match, which I made weight for at 205. I I go to do my grappling match at 205, but I slowed my weight cut just so I could have that done properly. And he was like, "Oh, hey, never mind. You're golden. Your fight's back on." And I look at the scale. I was about 226 to 230, but I'm now fully properly hydrated. I have all my I had everything where I needed it to be just for that cut that was like a month and a half out or something like that. And now I'm scrambling, and the cut did not go my way. And then for me to have the fight continued, the deal was to make my hydration. I had to make weight again the next day for my hydration.
Hmm.
So in California, for those that don't know, there's a second hydration test. So the deal was I miss weight, he gets 10-20% of my purse. And then if I showed up over 220 hydrated, the fight was off.
Yeah.
So I showed up at 220, and I just because of that, I do think it played a pivotal factor in my body because the very last round I got hit, dropped, sat down. I wasn't out. I just got dropped. My body gave out. And I genuinely think it was I wasn't used to making that massive weight cut.
Yeah.
Now, this upcoming fight, I'm going to still be on the smaller side. Right now, I'm about 220, or no, I'm like 240 ish, holiday weight. And, but I'm trying to get ready for the ADCC Long Beach Open, which
Mhm.
I want to compete at 220. And that's January 20th or 23rd. I could be wrong on the dates. I want to get ready and compete for that. And then the matchmaker who made this fight already knows about that. I told him ahead of time, like, yo, I'm planning on competing in the ADCC trials. And he was like, just try not to get hurt. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not stupid. And last time I won a belt, actually, I competed in the ADCC trials last time. So I'm like, and that fight was also at altitude. It's lining up to be a perfect a repeat. I'm liking this. But I that's gonna be at 220, and I would like to be at 220 for this fight. Going in there because I feel quicker, faster,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping if an opportunity opens up down like right after, if this is a quick, easy fight, I hope some opportunities open up where I can turn around and take either a short notice fight at 205 or go back to heavyweight. And if I'm at 220, I can make a 15-pound weight cut the week of, cut out salt,
Yeah.
a little bit. That is something reasonable that my body could handle. Now, when I made my last 205, or not my grappling match, but my actual fight, I was like 230, give or take.
Yeah.
And
So
that was,
you want to be around that 225-ish range walking. That's where you feel best at.
yeah.
Yeah. So is your goal now, Jared, though, or is your goal to get back to the UFC? Do you think that that's attainable? Do you do you want to get back there? Do you want to fight for like PFL? Like where's your goals at in the future?
Okay, so my goal is to either PFL or UFC. One also, I've like maybe because it's not as big in the states, but I would love to fight for one also. UFC one, PFL. Now, PFL seems a bit harder to obtain due to the factors of the recent purchase of Bellator. Now, UFC, they had me, but they might just be like, nah, like because you see a lot of fighters that go in the UFC, you know, are out and then they kill it on the regional scene, but never make it back into the
Mhm.
UFC. Why? I don't know. I don't want to be one of those guys. I would like to go do my thing, beat up some people, and the UFC is like, hey, you want to come back? I'd be like, I'd love to. I I personally have nothing bad to say about the organization. It works for me. I know other people, different story. But I wouldn't mind going back to the UFC, but I'm open to PFL or one.
Well, you looked pretty good in a lot of ways against Cortez Acosta. I mean, that was a tough fight. That guy's an absolute savage, and you were right in there with them, blow for blow. I mean, did you kind of feel like you proved your worth to get another contract? I mean, I know you're not going to be getting any layups in the UFC, but you looked like you belonged in there to me.
Yeah, okay, it's weird because no, like if you ask a lot of people that have watched my fights, there's never been a fight where I never seen outclassed. Even with Olenek, God, that dude's grip is stupid. But like even with Olenek, when people are like, "You took his back," it's like, how can you take this dude's back, man? And I'm just like, I can grapple. I know how to. And now the whole Chase Sherman fight, like I don't believe in making excuses. I took the fight. I I was injured. Now, during the fight, I did not know I was injured. I thought it was genuinely nerves. And that played a massive factor into it. I was like, I'm nervous, I'm hurt, or like I didn't know, I didn't think it was hurt. I didn't realize it was like actual injury. I just thought I was nervous. I was like nervous. That played against me, but it's not. I still took the fight, so I don't want to sit there and be like, "That's the only reason why he won." No, I should have been a little bit more cautious and understood that my body wasn't nervous; it was actually hurt. That so I take 100% responsibility. And Chase won fair and square. He did his thing, but I like, and even Costa. Like I watched that fight, and I like what pisses me off more about that fight isn't the loss, is the fact that they suspended me for like 45 days. I'm like, I was not hurt after that fight. I wasn't like we've seen me fight. I bleed. Like I cut open. You sneeze in the ring with me, I'm bleeding. Okay? Like that, like if you don't make me bleed, I feel like you know what, you might have not have won the fight really. You know? And that's kind of something that I want to bring up is like and I'm gonna bring up the judging refereeing thing is because right now my wifey she's with Camo, which is amateur circuit here in California, and she's actually trying to work her way up to CSAC. And me and her have been working on the idea of possibly even going to the school for refereeing and judging. And with that, we were starting to see a lot of things, and damage is like the number one factor. They're like, oh, damage, damage, damage. And I'm like, okay, cool. I walked out of that cage. I like, and I am tired of people acting like leg kicks don't hurt. I could hurt people with leg kicks. And my leg kicks have like affected Waldo so much that when he fought Chase Sherman like 2, 3 weeks later, when Chase kicked him, you could like see it on his face that he was still in pain. I was like, Chase, I gave you a layup, take it. And and then that fight happened, and then you see Lima. He's took my strategy and perfected it.
So you think that maybe refereeing is in your future? Is that something that you think is a realistic thing here?
Yeah, I mean, if like I'm at a point in my career that if like a few fights away that don't go my way, I might just call it quits because I could then focus on really going 100% on my gym and then occasionally go referee. But I'm not there yet, and I don't think I'm going to be there just yet because I feel like a few things have truly done good for me. Switching to Kings. Like I like we could look at the my last fight and be like, oh, it wasn't that great. You lost, blah 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 blah. But when I was talking to the judges afterwards, because like I said, my wifey's in works with the commission and she's working to get her CSAC license. We know the judges. they told me their scorecards. I would have won that fight.
Hmm.
Oh, trust me, that you do not want to hear that. Like you won the fight. I'm like, oh, and the worst was there's 20 fucking seconds left.
Yeah, that's tough.
And yeah, and you know, hats off to Campbell. There's nothing. I'm not knocking the dude. But yeah, no, there's just certain things that I learned from that one. But I think now that I understand what I have to do for a proper weight cut to 205, um, I think it will be a night and day difference from that fight to the next fight, and I'll be able to really showcase everything I've gone from Kings.
That's exciting, man. So let's talk about this upcoming title fight again, February the 10th. Fierce. Oh, I got you. I lost you there for a second. I got you again. Let's talk about this upcoming title fight, February the 10th. Fierce FC 30. You're taking on Kent Mafileo. He's 4-0. All four of his fights, he's finished the fight. I mean, obviously, this guy's dangerous on the feet, but he's younger in his career. You've got a lot more experience than he does. What do you expect to see from him? What is his style like?
He's kind of he has that old school style. He likes to brawl. He likes to stand and bang with guys. I think his clinch work and on the cage is where that's where he wins a lot of his fights. Is he? A lot of people think that you put his back against the wall, it's easy, but no, he does very well from there. Um, so I'm trying to keep it on the open, and I think if he tries to out wrestle me, I like I think my grappling, I've truly finally started to have faith in my grappling. That's the one thing a lot of people don't understand is, even though I'm a black belt, I don't have faith in my grappling. And it wasn't until recently that I started really like truly feeling my faith in my abilities to actually like go. And so if he wants to wrestle me, go ahead. And I would say it might be the worst course of action for him because, like I said, I'm preparing for the ADCC Open and just found out they announced the ADCC trials for North America Part 2 is in March. So yeah, I'm gonna be prepping for that also. So if he wants to try to grapple me, I think right now my grappling is on a whole different level because I actually want to do something. I like I said, I want to get either back into the UFC. If that door is closed, I want to either go like one or PFL. And I would kind of push for one just because they have the grappling events, they have the Muay Thai events, and the MMA events. I'm like, it seems like a perfect fit for me.
Yeah, that does make sense. Let me ask you this though, Jared. I know your back has to be up against the wall here in this fight. You really need to get this win. How do you do it? What ultimately is your prediction here for this Fierce FC 30 title fight?
Honestly, my normally I give like a sarcastic remark, which that's not going to change. Spinning heel kicked in the first. Um,
Spinning heel kick. You've said that to me before that you're going to finish fights like that. Well, realistically though, like I mean, you could do it like that, right? But what?
actually, yeah, I can, especially at Kings. Raphael likes his spinny shit. Okay, like I have actually gotten way too good at throwing spinning elbows and back fists. So that's not out of the realm of plausibility either. I've actually dropped one of my teammates a while back with spinning elbow, and I warned him. I'm like, hands up, I'm throwing spinning shit. Fucking jab, spinning elbow. I had to catch him. I'm like, no.
I'll tell you what, a guy your size, that's a scary thought, throwing spinning shit here in fights. So Kent better be on the lookout if that's going to happen here. One last thing, Jared, I see that this fight is at the Maverick Center in Utah. What is that travel going to be like? When are you going to be leaving to go there for the fight?
I don't know, like a day or so before.
Okay. So is it a quick flight?
It's like an 8 9 hour drive, so give or take, that might be like an hour and a half, 2 hour flight, if that. But the wifey, she's kind of like, do I want to come? Do I not want to come? And I'm gonna be like, well, figure it out because if you want to come, instead of flying, I will drive. I hate flying, so I will drive. I will be like, all right, we're leaving at 2 in the morning. We'll be there.
I'm the same way, man. I'd rather drive. I've been able to fly a little bit more as I've gotten older, but I'm with you. I'd rather drive, dude. I can't wait to see you fight again. Is there a way to watch it online if someone can't be there
I
in person?
believe it's on Fierce Fighting's YouTube channel.
Okay,
It will be live, I believe. I'm like 90% sure.
I'll have to check that out. Make sure I can watch you compete. As always, Jared, I love talking to you, man. Best of skill in this upcoming fight. Before we do sign off, as always, I want to give you the floor. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours, bud.
Uh, Ryan, thank you for having me. We've been doing this for a couple years now, and I love it. I mean, I feel like you might like it too. You keep having me on. So big shout out to you as always. All the fans, appreciate, stopping by, watching my career, the ups and the downs, and my team, all that stuff, the family. That you know what, they're questionable. We could, and yeah, just again, thank you.